heavy.
Yeah, I had one of these bad boys. Ooh, funky finger.
So I do know it's a male because of the belly. You can eat cereal out of that. I don't suggest it. But males, their bellies are usually curved like that. Females have a flat belly, so the males can actually easily sit on the female.
Yeah, of course.
They also have this extra long bone under their chin. What is that called specifically? I always forget it.
I call it a flipper.
A flipper.
I call it
that's
a
what
horn.
it's for.
I
call
like
it a horn.
Yeah.
a horn. Okay. Yeah, so they have this extra long thing, and these guys fight pretty often with each other. They just go under, flip them over. We do a full walk around every morning to make sure the tortoises are right side up. It's pretty often that happens. Oh, look at him.
He's got a big female sulcata that likes to pull that with everybody.
Yeah, oh, man.
She likes knocking everybody over.
Yeah, there's a red dot on this one, so he was a lost and found too. A lot of people actually find these guys in their backyard, and they just feed them. They're just like, oh, he came in one day, I'll feed him, and then they never leave, and then they have them for 20 years, and then we end up with them, and we were like, you know, that was illegal, right? Can't own them without a license, and even if you did own one with a license, you can't take it out of the state.
One thing I try to tell people is, because they can never tell the difference between a sulcata and these, is right here on the top they have that extra scoot, as to where sulcatas just have all the way through these, but don't have this little one above the head.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good pointer. I usually look at the feet or the butt. That's where I look at. Yeah, for the spikes. But yeah, as a protected species, these guys can't leave the state. We had a Sonoran Desert tortoise named Geraldine. She passed away in February, but she was 80 something.
Oh wow.
And a woman had her, actually rescued her from a man who bred them and basically made stew out of them.
Oh.
So she rescued a lot of the tortoises from him, and all of them passed away except for Geraldine, and she had to move, well, she moved to New Jersey, so she had to give her to someone, and she gave them to us, or her to us, and she visited every single year to see Geraldine. So we had Geraldine marked, so we can easily pick her out, because we have 30, 40 of them in here.
Let me ask you this. Do you guys try to reintroduce any of these back?
To the wild? No. Most of these guys were pets at one point. We either give them to Game and Fish, or we adopt them out. But we also have to keep a few just for educational purposes. So,
I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, we don't reintroduce these guys, just because people are the ones that bring them in.
I was just basically talking like, if you guys had hatchlings, do you guys try to hatch them out just so you can reintroduce them?
I don't think we've ever had hatchlings, honestly. I found
don't get to that point.
Yeah, I've only found one. No, I found 3 eggs in here, but they were not viable at all. So
Gotcha.
other than that, we haven't had any of those. But
That's a good question though.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Because I mean, on an endangered list, you'd think you'd take any opportunity to make babies and reintroduce them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
That's like what they're trying to do with the rhinoceros iguana. The rhinoceros iguana is actually endangered, and they're saying in about 30 years that there's a chance they won't be out there anymore. So they're trying to breed them in captivity and release the babies out. Yep.
That's awesome.
I love rhino iguanas, but man, they hurt.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had to is it called matador? Like, you know, with the red flag in the bowl?
Yep.
That's what I did with the iguanas. They would chase after me, and I would throw the towel on their head. It would disorient them. I could get my stuff done and get out.
Get out, yeah, no.
But yeah, these guys do pee on me most often than others. I was actually talking to a group of kids, and no one could see them, so I was like that, and right on my face.
Oh no!
I've had my share of poop and pee in my mouth.
My daughter got me, so yeah, I know how it feels.
I just tell people that their poop and pee is probably the cleanest out of all the animals that I've ever worked with.
Right, because if you really think about it, they eat the healthiest, and then when they poop, it's like a clump of like hay.
Yeah,
it's like a dirty clump of hay. So it's
even
not
if you
as
eat
bad.
it, you might get nutrients out of it.
I'm good.
And then their
I don't want to try.
And then their pee is basically water.
Right.
Their pee is basically water. So. It might stink though coming out of these guys, since they're adapted to go a while without water here in the desert, so they can hold on to their pee for a year to 2 years if they needed to.
I actually didn't know that.
long.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
They just hold on to it to
hydrated.
keep them, to keep hydrated. So when people want to help them cross the road, I tell them not to. Like, if you happen to have a head of lettuce with you in your car for some reason, that's how you walk a tortoise across the road. Just try not to pick them up. Just because a wild one,
they pee,
yeah, as soon as they get picked up, they'll pee and poop all over you. And a lot of people don't think to like soak them in water.
He's like,
you know, so
why?
if they pee on me, I sit them in their water bowl.
Yeah.
But people out in the, like, just helping these guys, they don't know anything about them. They don't give them that water back to them, and these guys might have 72 hours to get water before they can dehydrate and possibly pass away. So it's very important that we don't do that.
I'll make sure to highlight that in the video too, so that way people know.
Yeah,
I'll make that a clip.
Yep, just don't.
For Arizona, I'll make
pick
that a
up
clip.
tortoise.
Out where we are.
That's a
everybody
big.
finds
That's a big thing. Is out by us.
Yeah, I've
because
heard
we're in
people
Buckeye.
go out and they find a tortoise while they're hiking. They'll take it home and then they'll release it. I'm just like,
took it away from its habitat.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how
Where
far.
does it get water now?
I don't know how far they move from where the place they were born. I know it's not too far though. So if they just let it out in a random spot, they basically just killed the tortoise.
No.
So it is very important to learn about these guys. These are one of my favorite guys to talk about, just because people who live here need to know about them. I've never seen one out in the wild, and I've been here a year and a half now. So
I've seen 5. It was nuts because we go herping a lot.
Yeah.
And we went out and we saw one in a den, and I was like, is that a den or is that just a random like cave in a rock? And we looked behind the rock and boom, there's one just sleeping there.
Yeah.
And then we seen someone just walking across the road or just walking around out there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I caught one flip.
Oh yeah.
He was on his
A lot
back.
of them are always
Just.
Oh my gosh, when they wiggle.
Yeah. And I'm driving down the road. I'm like, man, it looks like a little animal's having a seizure.
Oh my
It was at
gosh.
night. We were going to go pick up a horse.
Oh, I guess I should just like I always tell people why they're protected and we don't want to mess with them, because that's important too. It's just because they're a keystone species. So if they went extinct or endangered, it can completely make the ecosystem fall apart.
Yep.
And how they keep the ecosystem together, I mean, you don't think of a tortoise as a superhero wearing a cape or anything, but they do keep the ecosystem together with those feet of theirs for all the digging holes. We did collapse their holes, so they actually had to go into a warmer area.
Right.
But they can dig upwards of 6 feet into the ground, not as deep as the sulcatas, obviously. They're not that big. They'll go into brumation, wake up around April maybe. Yep. And once they leave that hole, they don't remember where they dug it. So other animals, the mammals, lizards, they go to that hole to cool off when it's 110 degrees or so. So they provide homes for other animals, and